LFA&BARBS.
Hello everybody and welcome back again to Single Again with LFA&BARBS, and as usual I have Ed in the house.
Hello everyone, we're back again. We're here. Hey, we're laughing.
Yes, we are here. We are
fun.
back again.
Yes.
If this is your first time, this is Single Again with LFA&BARBS, where we talk about everything divorce, everything single parenthood, everything single again, which is definitely different from the first time that you were single. And today we will be talking about understanding the impact of my last relationship, and we will be exploring what happened. I know we may have mentioned, this something like that in the past, but we're trying to reflect. It's a new year. Before we can take a new step, we have to reflect. What went wrong? What did I do? And what did I learn? Because that's very important.
Yeah, and they're very difficult questions as well to ask. And I think it's one of those areas that we tend to avoid if we can, because doing a review is actually going deep into yourself, getting emotional, really, and actually being asked to be honest with yourself. Because it's like anything. Sometimes you feel a homing, and you're being asked, how much food, for instance, do you think you eat every day? And you can never come into your head and say, actually, I think I consume about 4,000 calories a day.
Oh, yeah.
You'll probably be conservative and say, maybe between 1 and 2,000, because that is the expected amount of calories, or even as a woman, that you're supposed to take a day. So when you have to ask yourself these difficult questions, I have just stepped out of this relationship, or my relationship broke down, I have become single. Now I'm not single as a young person growing up and a single person.
Yeah, single in my 40s.
I was single. I got into a relationship. It's not necessarily a marriage. You have a partner and then no longer with this person. So you're now having to ask yourself, because it's easy to say, he did this, he did that, and then we had to break down. Well, she did this and she did that to me and we split up. But when it is that you're asking yourself, this is now ended, actually, what was my part in it?
Yes.
You're having to ask yourself that, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? What could I have done better?
Done differently.
And what's my learning out of this? Or actually, from my experience in this relationship, what is profitable for me to take forward? And the question is, how many of us do that? How many of us do that? And that is what we want to talk about today.
Yeah.
How we do that.
And it's so sad that most of the time we don't take scores, or we don't keep stock. We don't go back to reflect. Most of the time we are like, I don't want to go back to the past. And I've realized that there is no way you can heal your future if you don't visit your past. The last episode we talked about looking forward to 2024. What do I look out for? What do I look up for in 2024? Now, how do I move on in 2024 if I don't go back to understand the impact that this last relationship had on me? Impact could be, do I still feel scarred from it? Of course, we are all scarred. But how scarred am I? Have I healed? Have I forgiven myself? Have I forgiven him? And like Barb said, what actually went wrong? Sitting down to really process it. Like I told you before the show that I was listening to Pastor Olumide Emmanuel, and he said that before you can say you have moved on, you have to really sit down and take record. Like, what went wrong? What was my part in it? And what did I learn from it?
Yeah.
I know what I learned from my relationship. I was
Mm.
on a podcast with Samantha Soto. She interviewed me. We're talking about single again. And she asked me a question. She said, what is one thing that you think you didn't do in your last relationship that if you have a relationship now, you would do? And I said something. I lost my voice in my last relationship.
Oh, that is so common.
But
More
this
common than you
time I
think.
said,
Yes.
I am getting my voice back. I blurred my boundary, terribly blurred my boundary. Because,
Mm-hmm.
as a woman, you trust,
Mm.
you depend, like this person would never do this to you. But then you find out that this person keeps throwing you under the bus, you know. And then, yeah, I have reflected what happened. And honestly, I tell everybody, I cannot say this is what happened. It's funny, right? You cannot just say, okay, it's a different thing if, oh, okay, maybe I was cheating, or maybe I did something that is very terrible, but you can't think of it, and that's fine. What part did I play in it? The part I played in it, I know it because I was very, very enabling. I
Mm.
enabled everything I was not supposed to enable. And what did I
And
learn?
sorry, Lolo. I know I'll lose my train of thought if I don't say this. I think sometimes, when we are sitting to review,
Hmm.
we want to think about the big things that we did, the major things that we did. What
Hmm.
I have come to learn is in a relationship, is those little minute things that we do that either binds us or pull us
Or
apart.
pull us apart. Exactly.
Because those are the little things that you do that actually it annoys me, but I can't complain about it because if I do, it's so little. Why am I making a big fuss about it?
And
Or
especially because, oh, I don't want us to fight. I don't want to
yes,
quarrel. No. It's good we
yes.
quarrel and move on with it.
And it's also, do we even need to quarrel? If listen, a relationship is one of the things that in my very early stages of my relationship was brought to my attention is you have come from a different environment.
Hmm.
You're brought up in different homes. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter the class of society that you were both in. You came from different houses.
Hmm.
So you are always going to be different when you come under
Exactly.
one roof. So this comes into the fact of tolerance and communication.
Hmm.
So some of those things that you do, that annoys me, but I'm thinking, well, I've been told I have to be tolerant, so whether I like it or not, I have to put up with it. But if I actually spoke to you about it, you would know that some of those things are not very interesting to me. So we might agree on how to make it work. Some of those things we leave it and then it becomes small and then it picks up, it builds up, and it becomes something big in
Yes.
our role as what did we do.
And some
But
of the time we sweep it under the carpet.
yes, because it's easier. It's
Yes.
easier because we feel time will heal it. Oh, in
Oh
time he will
no.
get to know. In time she will do it my way. And then because we've never talked about it and we have accepted it, and then we're suddenly expecting a miracle from this person to be doing it, but we never talked about it. The response you get when you raise it is, but you've never said anything about it. Why are you now making a
Yeah.
fight about it? So when we're looking at what really happened or what was our part in it, let's not just look at the big things. For me, I think just look at the little things, because if you add the little things to the big things in your next relationship, you will communicate. Communication is the utmost.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate if you're in a relationship where actually you don't think, like we said, when you've lost your voice.
Mm.
With my first husband, what I had to do sometimes, if there's a serious matter that I need to discuss with him about the children, I have to make sure that day I bought a VO5 brandy. I'm cooking his best meal. And then by the time he's eaten and finished and I want to talk, he's drunk so much he wants to sleep anyway.
Mm.
So then that becomes perpetuated, and either it doesn't get done or doesn't get talked about. And then before I know he's a consultant, he's gone again. So I think it's actually, let's find our voices and see that, was I
finding
able
our
to
voices.
communicate?
Yeah.
If you didn't communicate in that one, okay, now I need to start off with the fact that actually we need to be able to talk to each other.
Yes.
And not just, and then see where I'm going. And what did I learn from, that relationship that I was in? How did it make me? Because our experiences is what makes us who we are.
Yes. And
I think, so we need to be able to identify some of the benefits or what some of the things that even those bitterness, how did it turn? What did I learn from it? So that we are not bringing the baggage of negativity into the new relationship. And I think some of and also, I'll be honest with you, maybe I'm talking too much, but Lola, but I think, for me, I couldn't review what happened until I went into therapy.
Exactly.
I didn't, because as soon as I left, my focus and everything was okay. Now I need to live life. I need to do this. I need to do that by myself. I have no time for review. So I have carried it along with me over years until, I remember once my therapist asked me that, okay, say for instance, he's in here with us. Imagine he's sitting there on a chair and I want you to say everything you want to say to him. That after that session, I had to get on the exercise bike for an hour before I could go to sleep, because it was very deep and intense. So it's not very light. We're not thinking this is an easy thing to do. For me, I think about it. What is the process you're going to use? It's very important.
It is not easy, honestly. No. And just like you, of course, some of those things I knew, but it was in therapy that I really kind of like have an eye opener. Like, I have enabled more than what I should have enabled. And then I had to look at myself like, where did I get that strength from? How did you cope? And honestly, something that I learned about myself is I am very resilient. I am a strong woman. I learned that.
That's why you're a social worker, isn't it?
I learned that about myself. And honestly, I can say something, I'm not blowing my trumpet, but I can say something that I think I learned that I'm a good person. I think I learned that there is good in every woman or every man that can tolerate the intolerable. Because like you said, I kept saying like, okay, maybe, and especially if you were in a relationship with someone that doesn't understand the rudiments of communication, that when you communicate, there are always misunderstanding, misconstruing whatever you say.
Oh, what you're saying. That's so hard.
So as we're going on in this year, let us try. Reflection is not easy because it brings back some very terrible memories. My daughter and I sat across from the dining table this afternoon and we were talking, and she was like, oh, at least you're not thinking about him. Oh, she said, oh, at least I'm not worried that you're still thinking about him. I said, I don't. The only time I think about him is if I have to pay my lawyer.
And I want to punch him.
When I think of that money I have to pay, and I look at you children, it's either I want to curse or I want to bless him, And honestly, I think somewhere and some episodes to come, we'll talk about forgiveness because it's very important.
It's very important. Oh, yes.
When you are trying to make sense of the impact of that last relationship on you. The impact on me was not easy. Even though I went to therapy, there are times, of course, Barb, you can testify, there are times I still feel like, I still, think like, okay, it took me a minute because honestly, even when I left, if I have to go out, I'll tell myself, no, you can't go. Because I dare not go out. Where do I want to go? Who do I want to go with? He's not allowing me, he's not permitting me to go. So why would I go? Except he gives me permission. So I had to tell myself that, it's okay. You can go out. You're fine.
You're free to go now.
It took me me a minute
Yeah.
to get there to that place where I understand that, oh, okay, it's not here anymore. It doesn't have that authority over me anymore. And sometimes
Mm.
I even have to shout it loud in my room. You do not have authority over me anymore. I have to shout that in my room. I have to tell myself that. You do
Yeah.
not have authority over me anymore. I have authority over me. God have authority over me, not you. You have
Amen.
removed yourself from that triangle, and you're not
That role. Yeah.
anymore. So
Yeah.
I take control of my time. I have to shout it and tell myself that severally. It is not easy trying to make sense of the last relationship, but hey, like I said earlier on, if you don't go back into the past, you will not be healed for the future. So for us to
No.
be
I
healed for,
mean, yeah, you need
yes,
to.
we
One
need
of the things
to.
that for me I took out of my previous relationship was in the beginning of a new relationship, make sure that you actually say what it is that you want, who you are. I married, I was 25, and as a 25-year-old woman, I should say, I didn't have street wisdom. I sometimes think I was a protected young girl. So I didn't really do the clubs and the streets. And so I didn't have street wisdom. And I married a man who was 7 years older than me. And he made sure he's directing the relationship and telling me what to do. And he could tell that I was actually an obedient person because I have been brought
Naive,
up.
naive
Yeah, well,
obedience.
to him, yeah. To him, I do what he says. So
Hmm.
it was very easy, even though he wasn't directly commanding and bullying me. It was very easy for him to realize that actually I seek his consent for things
Hmm.
that I do. I will check. I mean, there was a period that even if my friends asked us to do something or to go somewhere, I will always say, "Come, let me ask my husband first." And some of it was quite a joke among us as girlfriends because to them it wasn't necessary, but that was how I did things. And whilst I'm doing everything that pleases him, I never told him who I was or what do I want for him to be forced to do it. I was too eager doing everything for him. And it was almost as if that you are pleased for him to want you. So if you're doing that, then he has no business trying to please you because I haven't taught him anything about the type
About
of
me.
person that I am. So for me, one of the things I took away was any man that I go with, I believe I know how to love and I have deeper love in me. So the man must understand who I am, where I come from, what I want
Hmm.
in life, and what I expect in a relationship. Because if I say it, they will also have the opportunity for us to discuss so that we have a template from the beginning. I didn't have that. You need to have a template, then you can build on it. Because every year together, you grow, you become different people.
Yeah.
So when they met you, where were you? And
Yeah.
then after 10 years together, where are you?
Where are
But
you?
if they don't have a template and you're just throwing, wishes in
Whatever comes
in
our
the
way.
air,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, then the relationship is not really that is when it's not stable. That's
Yeah.
when it's not solid because anything can come through. And for me, that is what happened because it was about him, it was his way. And then if it's a person that is never, he wasn't at home because he works away a lot, there's nothing that's holding him here
Yeah.
because I haven't told him anything to make him hold him here. So I think for me, however it turned out in the end or however bad it was that I left, I still hold responsibility for how that relationship panned out because he regretted, he said a whole lot about he never wanted to leave. But I hadn't given him any foundation for him to do it good. So I think as we're reviewing, we know what we want to
Yeah.
take into the future.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you go into your next relationship and then you're blaming them for all sorts. So
But not looking
everything,
inward and asking
yeah,
yourself, did I give these
yeah.
people an opportunity to know the me that I want them to know?
Yeah, it's very important. I think we put ourselves out there. Very, very
Yeah,
important that
yeah,
we
yeah.
do it in
Uh,
the right way.
yeah, and that's something else that I'm taking out of my last relationship is like asking question. Because in my last relationship, it was all about him, just like yours. He's telling
Yeah.
me plan, he's telling me what he wants, he's telling me how he wants it, he's telling me this is.
Yeah, it's the African woman thing, to be honest. I'm sorry.
But the thing is,
It's the way we are brought up.
I
Yeah.
tried to, when I tried to tell him what I want, it would just it's just like take a pause to be like, okay,
Do you
as I
have a
was
choice?
saying, like just undermining. So I
Mm,
learned in the process to just keep quiet. And I am one that always wants peace. I can't fight.
mm.
I don't want to argue. I just don't want it. Okay. That's what
Oh.
okay. And my daughter sometimes my children, actually, both of them will look at me like, you're gonna let him get away with that? And I'm like, well, yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
no, no, no. I never did it
so
for peace sake. No, I mean, I
no,
told you,
I
I
did it
never
more
did it
for
for peace
peace.
sake. No,
And
I,
plus, I married a
don't
man that
believe
I
that.
was older than by 3 years.
Yeah,
So, and
yeah,
there was this resentment even from his parent, like, oh, she's older than you, she's gonna cheat you, she's gonna do
yeah,
this. But I tell you, everyone that sees and knows us will never believe
yeah.
that I was older by 3 years. The way
You
he
gave
talked,
him the authority.
I gave
Yeah.
him my authority.
Do you know that is one of the big issues with when a woman is older than a man? We always say that the consciousness of making sure you give the man the due respect because you're older than them. So if the assumption is you're easily going to lord it over them. So maybe that's why the parents were going with that. But you were able to actually live on the relationship and let's say that we are partners and let's get on with it. But
Yeah.
it also could be that he then became, you know, self-conscious and the insecurities of their own understanding and perception
Yeah.
means they have to force to be in authority. And
Yes.
sometimes that is sad to watch.
It's
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 sad to watch.
unfortunate. It's
Yeah, it
unfortunate,
is. It
honestly.
is.
And
Yeah.
honestly, this is just an advice. Even if you're dating someone that you're older than, let them know this is where I stand. Are you willing to come or not?
Yeah.
You don't have to be conscious of the age difference and
No, no, no. You decided to be
go
together.
low, go below your standard just to make sure that you reflect how much you care, you adore, and you appreciate them in your life, and they're not
Yeah.
reciprocating it. So
Yeah.
it's something that I learned, and I am taking a lot with me, and it's
And
very
yeah, you going below your level as you're saying, it's also subjective.
it
We
is
don't want to
it
reduce
is
ourselves. I mean, what we are saying is live and talk and work as partners. Because in
yes,
relationship, we always say age is a number, but do we actually live like age is a
like age
number?
is a number. That's true.
We have to really be conscious. We live and we say it. For me, I've learned that I don't say something I don't believe in or I can't live it. If you know age is just a number, then your partner's age, if it doesn't matter to you, then you're not throwing it in them. But once there was a point where my husband said to me, "I'm older than you, and you have to respect me." And I had to. I mean, sorry, as I'm speaking, my mouth is never closed, and I said, the very very first day that I became your wife, your lover, that you're older than me and you must control me, it was out of the window. And he
Yeah,
never, he struggled to live with that because even though I said that, but I still looked up to him. But
yeah,
his interpretation of me looking up to him as my husband and respecting him was misconstrued.
yeah.
And it's sad. So I learned. I know
It is
now.
sad, especially in a lot of the African homes, you know.
Yes.
And most of the time, and I always say something, most of us here in the US, I would say that if it's something that will favor you, you're an American. But if it's something you want to demand from people, that's when you're a Nigerian. Most of the time we come and we say that, oh yeah, it's just a number, it doesn't matter, this, that. But then at the end of the day, at the nitty gritty, is it true that deep down it doesn't matter, or you just saying it to please the crowd?
Yeah, I think it's
So
important. It's
yeah,
really
so it is
important.
important in 2024 to please take time to reflect and understand the impact that this last relationship is having on you. And on that note, we shall be drawing the curtain on today's
Yeah.
episode until we see you again.
Yeah. Until we see you again, continue reviewing. If there's something that happened that you don't understand, find somebody to talk to.
Or
Get to
shoot us a
draw it all
message.
out.
Just shoot us a
Yeah.
message. Ask us
Yeah. Let's
questions.
discuss.
Yeah, and again, if you just stumble into this podcast, please like, share, subscribe, and follow us on Facebook. We have a Single Again page where it is just us, judgment-free
Yes.
zone. You're free to be
Yes.
who you are and what you want to do. So
Yes.
talk and reason together, and let us make
Yes.
this journey as easy as we can.
It's a safe space. So bring your issues, bring your views. Let's
Yes.
learn from each other. We are all single again and thinking
Absolutely.
about 2024.
Yes.
What are we doing?
Absolutely. What are we doing? So from me, it is have a wonderful time. Bye.
And from me, keep reviewing. Take care.